Welcome to the Pretty Confident Podcast, where we embrace authenticity, own our worth, and build unshakable confidence. I'm your host, Sierra Renee. Let's dive in. Happy Pod Day, everybody. Oh my goodness. We are finally in February. When I tell you guys, January said y'all are going to feel all 31 days because y'all complained how fast 2024 went by. Now let's see how you like feeling all 31 days in January. And I can definitely say I was not a fan. I'm not a fan. I wasn't a fan. And I hope this year can like just go steadily. Like as long as January took to go through, like I don't even know how many official weeks we had in January, but I just felt like it was too long. It was just too long. So anyway, how are you guys doing? It is the start of another week. It is the top of another month. How are you all doing? Have you guys accomplished anything that you guys set out for the year? Again, with your goals, you do not have to accomplish everything so quickly. Just small, manageable steps, small wins. Celebrate that. And we'll talk a little bit about that today. I definitely want to point out, some of the things that I've accomplished so far in January of the 31 days that we had in January. I definitely want to point out some of the accomplishments that I made. But yeah, before we get into that, like, yes, how are you all doing? I just feel like y'all, I have been having such a stressful week. Maybe not like a full stressful week, um, but a stressful like couple days. So I'm hoping like this new week goes by seamlessly, like a little bit more, flowy and airy and not too serious. But y'all, I have just been stressed out. I have like my mental capacity is depleted. Like I am just tired. I need to pour back into myself. So maybe I need to focus on some self-care this weekend. Um I love reading books. Like I'm gonna say this later on, but I've completed 3 books in January, and I did like have to force myself to stop because I was like, I don't want to get burnt out super quick. I don't want to, I don't want to like get too much of something good. Like you start to not like it anymore. So I didn't want that to happen. So I stopped reading. I think I finished like 3 books in the matter of like the first 2 weeks of January. Oh my goodness, so amazing. I love Colleen Hoover. And if you know me personally, you know that I want to read all of her books. And she has a lot of books. And so my boyfriend bought me all of her standalones. I already had like a few of her standalones. So he bought me the ones that I didn't have. So he bought me 7 books. And y'all, books are not cheap. I thought books were cheap. If you are listening to this and you think books are cheap, books are not cheap. At Barnes and Noble, like buying them brand new is not cheap. Let me say that because you can buy used books, and some books people give away for free, but buying them brand new, they're not cheap. They're like almost $20 a book, and so he bought me 7, and after tax and everything, it came out to like $130. So I do appreciate him, and I'm happy that I have like a stash of books to read now because at first, like, I was like, oh, dang, what book of hers am I going to read next? I don't have a book. I'm done with this book. I'm done with this book. So my unread stack is full at the moment. It is currently at, let me see, 6 unread books. And I did start another book last night because I was just so stressed. Reading for me is like taking a time out of the day for myself. So I am now reading another book, and this is going to be book 4. And if you remember a couple episodes ago when I talked about, setting goals for 2025, I created my own bingo board for 2025. And I'm just going to, try to accomplish as much as I can on that bingo board. And one thing that I had on there was read 5 books this year. Like I said, you do not have to limit yourself with any of your goals. If you put one goal on there, so like say I said, of course I said I want to read 5 books. That doesn't mean when I hit 5 books, I just stop. If I want to continue, I can continue. And that is an accomplishment in and of itself. Yes, I hit my goal that I wanted to read as many books as I wanted to, but guess what? I want to read more. So I'm going to do that. So life has just been so stressful. I told myself I was going to start a book first thing February. And right now, I went ahead and started a book a couple days before February started. So I'm just like, oof, I'm glad that it like it's taking me out of my current situation. Well, not taking me out of my current situation, but taking my brain and my mentality out of my current situation and placing me somewhere else. Because reading for me is like watching a movie. I'm like in another world. I'm reading something and envisioning everything playing out in my head. So reading for me is is a form of self-care. Um I told you guys before, it doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to be therapy. It doesn't have to be meditating. It doesn't have to be journaling. Like, it doesn't have to be the mediocre things. If something else provides you comfort, clarity, and sense of self, do that because that is helping you pour back into your own cup. So for me, reading, it just took my mind off of things. And I am an overthinker. And I told you all before, if you're an overthinker, it's because you're not trusting yourself or someone involved in whatever is going on. And I just been having so many things come up work wise, personally. It's just so much. And so I just needed to take my mind off of things, and reading helped me do that. So you guys, I just want to go ahead and say, if you are in a relationship and you live with your partner, girls, and men, tell your partner you appreciate them. There are things that your partner is doing that you are not able to see. And I call that invisible work, right? Invisible responsibilities, especially things that are placed on genders. Okay? Like let's dive into that a little bit. When I say things that are placed on genders, I mean, okay, females, depending on your relationship dynamic, there are some relationships that are, I want to say, maybe more old school, where it's like, okay, the woman, take care of the kids, take care of the household, cook, clean, yada yada yada. And the man, takes out the trash, do this, do that. Some things or some relationships now are not that traditional. And I feel like when we get into a groove where, you live with your partner for so long and you expect them to do certain things all the time, you stop seeing that as something that takes time and energy away from that person. So I just want to say, girls, if your guy is home majority of the time and you really don't have to lift a finger when you come in the house, or there are certain things that you don't have to do because he has it taken care of, take time out of your day to sit down and just tell him thank you. Or if you're listening to, I always want to say watching, but I'm not visual yet. But if you're listening to this and your man is like at work right now, or both of y'all are not in the house, or you're at work and whatever, text him and say, I thank you. I appreciate you. Because sometimes we can feel taken advantage of. Sometimes we could feel taken granted for, when other people don't see the value that we bring to the table, see the value that we bring to the household, and vice versa. Men, if you work majority of the time and your girlfriend, your wife, your whatever, lit like, works from home or is a stay-at-home mom or whatever, take the time to tell her thank you, because the gratitude that you show will just, make everything that the other person is doing worth it. Sometimes all we want is a thank you. Sometimes the problems in your life with your partner is because you don't show appreciation, you don't show gratitude for that person. And so they can feel taken granted, like they could feel that you're taking them for granted, because had they not been there, you would have to take care of the things that you don't think about. I think a lot of guys, in majority, for women, we do so much stuff, household wives, taking care of the dogs, taking care of the kids, to the point where it's expected of us. We've talked about expectations previously in multiple episodes. And so I feel like once we set a standard, once we set a bar of how we do things and the way we want things, that becomes the expectation. When we don't realize, okay, if I wasn't giving this all my effort, what would the expectation be? Would the other person care? Do I care more than the other person? right? If I wasn't here, would this other person even realize that this is something that they would have to, take care of? We need to realize that we need to appreciate the people in our lives. We need to appreciate the people that make our days and life easier. And that goes for relationship. Boyfriend, girlfriend, wife, husband, 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 wife, wife, girlfriend, girlfriend, boyfriend, boyfriend, whatever. I don't care. Take the time to show your partner appreciation, because that is going to make them feel seen. And that is one of the biggest things in relationships. Um, from what I hear, like, seeing all of these things go and whatever I see on TikTok or whatever, they don't feel the person that steps outside of the relationship, the person that steps outside of the marriage. Yes, you should want to fix that with your person. I'm not saying it's validated at all to step outside of your relationship, but you should want to sit there and work hand in hand with your partner to fix certain issues. And so if you don't know what the issue is, maybe you don't feel seen, maybe you don't feel appreciated. And so I remember I was at this get together at my friend's house, and I guess the husband probably had too much to drink, and he was talking to me and my boyfriend, and he was saying, like, oh, when I do this or when I do that, the children go to the mom and thank her, but she barely works. I said, when have you ever like seen her work or pay for anything? That's all my money, my money, money. In that relationship, he doesn't feel seen or appreciated by his wife or his kids. But as a family man, he's staying there. It's just alcohol got the best of him, and he's saying what he, really truly thinks and believes and feels. So I just want to pass that message along. There are things that your partner is doing, regardless if they tell you or not, that is invisible to your eye because they see life and chores and the way they want you guys' life to be a different way. And so they are taking on responsibilities and putting in more effort and action towards things that you may not notice. And because you don't notice it, they may feel taken they may feel like they're taken granted, or they may feel unrecognized, unseen, right? So I just want to tell y'all, girls, tell your man thank you, because there are definitely things that he's going through. He's taken to the chest, on the chin, whatever you want to say, and not telling you, and vice versa. Men, tell your women thank you, you appreciate them, and you see them and you love them, because there are certain things that us women are carrying on our backs and refusing to tell our men, because sometimes we feel like it's our responsibility, it's our whatever to take care of it, not enforce that or push that onto somebody else. And I feel like as independent women, that is something that most of us do have to learn how to work through. But at the same time, I feel like sometimes when men show us like, oh, maybe we're putting too much on them, or oh, they have their own stuff going on. Why do I don't want to put more stuff on them than they can bear, right? We start to retreat a little bit and not tell you as much that's going on internally with ourselves. That way, we don't, entirely enforce how we're feeling onto you and how you're feeling bad, because, we sometimes as independent women do that. And so I feel like weekly check ins need to be had. How are you feeling this week? Is there anything that I can do to unbear your load, or make your load a little lighter? Because if we are not in this thing together to make each other's life easier, why are we here? Right? Like, why are we here making life harder for each other? That's not what I'm here for. That's not what I signed up for, right? So I just wanted to get that little snippet out of the way. I didn't want to like go down into a whole frenzy, but I just wanted to make that known. Like, you never know what the other person is going through. Like, yeah, you're in a relationship with this person, but you don't spend every waking hour, minute, second with the person. And so it's kind of like impossible for you to fully grasp what the other person does to contribute to the relationship, to the household, and what the other person is feeling, right? Because we all have well, I'm not going to say all of us have jobs, because maybe there's somebody that's a stay-at-home mom, maybe there's somebody that's a stay-at-home dad, and just because that person may be staying at home doesn't mean that they don't have feelings and don't do things that are still invisible to the other person. They should still feel valued, respected, viewed as an actual person that contributes to the relationship as in the household, because that is truly what they're doing. If you're staying at home, I'm not saying that's not a job. Now, if you're just staying at home, you're laying around not doing anything at all, okay, that's not a job. But if you are staying at home and your job is to make sure the kids are cleaned and, you know, educated and help with homework and bathe and fed and put to bed, if that is all one person's job, that is still a job. That is not effortless. So I know I am not a mother to human kids yet, but I can only imagine. Whew, sometimes I be wanting kids, other times I be like, never mind. Never mind. I'm good where I'm at. So I just wanted to put that in there. Make sure you are showing your partner appreciation. Make sure that you are showing them affection. Make sure you are checking in on them. Because as much as I make sure I check on y'all weekly, there are some people that are not asked at all how are they doing. There are some people that don't even ask their partners, how are you feeling? How did this situation make you feel? I noticed you took this type of action or you moved differently when this happened. Why did you do that? Is there something that I could have done to prevent some things other partners are not noticing and taking social cues on? And so, we talked about resentment before. That can build resentment. And so when you get down the road and you guys hate each other, and you're just bickering over every little thing, it's because of built up tension and resentment, because you guys did not sit there, talk about it, and resolve the issue when it happened. So I just wanted to bring that up a little bit today. I'm actually going to talk about my bingo board. I'm just so happy. I was able to cross off some items on my bingo board, which I'm so happy to, say that I was able to cross off even one thing, right? So small and manageable steps. So I'm not going to go over my whole entire bingo board with you all today, but I just wanted to touch base with you all at the end of January, first thing of February, so that we can make sure that we're holding each other accountable, right? Accountability partners. And so when we're creating prayer boards, vision boards, bingo boards, we need to be making sure we are actively adhering to those things that we said we wanted to accomplish and make our lives look like in 2025, right? So it doesn't do us any good to sit there and create these things and put our time and energy and effort into these things and not do any with it past the day that we made it and reflected on it, right? So on my bingo board, I think I've almost crossed off one thing almost at every line except for my very last line. So I'll just tell you all what I crossed off. And if you want to know everything that I put on my bingo board, definitely go listen to the second episode of the year. It should have been about setting goals for 2025. I think that's episode 51, I want to say. Um, and definitely go follow me or subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are wanting to, subscribe to the YouTube channel for the podcast. It is the Pretty Confident Podcast on YouTube. And if you want to just find the link in my Instagram bio, my Instagram is prettyconfident.pod. So definitely go to it's those. I do post, quotes that I say on the podcast on my Instagram account, and then the weekly uploads for the podcast does get uploaded onto YouTube. Again, I am not visual just yet because I do not have the appropriate equipment that I want to have in order to bring you all quality videos. So right now, it is just like the audio uploaded there, because I realize there are some people that don't want to download Spotify, Amazon Music, or iHeartRadio if they don't already have it. And I'm pretty sure almost everybody I know has YouTube. So I just wanted to add that as an additional avenue for people to find and listen and, kind of create another community there. In case you don't listen to Spotify, Amazon Music, or you iHeartRadio. So hopefully you find me there if you don't want to find me anywhere else. So I'll try to make sure this is accessible as possible. So let's go ahead and get into the things that I have accomplished so far in January of 2025. So I guess I will kind of go through some of the things that I did right on here. So on the first row, No, okay, I am so sorry. Let's go ahead and get this together. So, I'm going to tell you all what I accomplished, and then I am going to tell you all what I'm going to work towards in February, and so on and so forth. And as I mark these down, at the end of every month, so probably like the first episode of every month or the last episode of every month, I'll just discuss, okay, what did we accomplish this month? If we didn't accomplish anything, okay, how are we going to prepare ourselves to accomplish it going forward, right? Because if we don't accomplish it and we're not able to accomplish it in that prior month or that current month, what did we do that prevented us from accomplishing those goals? And then how can we change that around? And what are we going to put in place to potentially accomplish it in the next month? Okay. So, like I said, we'll first go over what I did accomplish, and then we'll talk about what I'll try to accomplish next month. So, this month so far, I did upload more tutorials. That is kind of vague, but I left it vague because I did have some other specific things on here. I had a lot of things on my TikTok that I wasn't, let me see, like I had a lot of cleaning videos or, just spend the day with me videos. And so I really wanted to like show people how to do things more. And so I will say I have recorded a lot more tutorials. I recently created a invitation for my granddad's surprise party next month. I created like a video invitation and then like a just like a PDF invitation, that way it could be printed off. So I did record how I did both of those. So I am going to edit that and upload it. And then I did record some tutorials on how to do some editing that I've been doing. And a lot of people said that they love the editing and how did I do this? How did I do that? And so I have been responding a lot to those type of questions. And so sometimes it can be overwhelming because it's like, okay, I already have, content that I've batch created and I want to get that out. And then y'all are asking me how I did this. And so, it's just trying to get a mixture of both and trying to make sure engage and interact with my followers, because that is the one biggest thing. If you constantly ask somebody a question, don't get a response, say something on this person's, and they don't say anything or interact with any of their followers, they are going to lose people, because who wants to stay friends with somebody who doesn't pay them any attention? Like, I'm not going to be that person, and I don't want anybody to ignore me. So I don't want my followers and my friends on TikTok or wherever to feel like I'm ignoring them. So I have been doing a lot more updating and tutorials. So I did go ahead and cross that off because I have done more in January than I thought I would. So not saying that I'm just going to stop now that I've met this goal. Remember, I did say if I met this goal, if I cross something off my list, it doesn't mean that I have to stop. It just means that I've met my mark of what I set for myself and I could continue going. This is not a limit. Okay, so the next thing that I did accomplish is starting a YouTube channel. Now, January 1st, 2025, I started the YouTube channel for my podcast. And that, just because I like, published it and made it live and everything, I did not cross that off just because I created a YouTube channel. I crossed this off once I started posting on all three of my accounts. So if you don't remember, or this is your first time listening, I created a digital design page, which the tag is Digital Designs by C. I created a personal page because TikTok was going to be banned and it was banned for less than 24 hours. But my TikTok, as well as my personal page on YouTube, is at It's Sierra Renee. And then I created, obviously, a YouTube channel for my podcast, and that's at the Pretty Confident Podcast. So I didn't want to just publish something and then say, okay, I did it. Let me go ahead and mark this off my list. No, I wanted to actively use these channels to, one, prove to myself that I can do this, and two, to feel accomplished in starting my YouTube channel. You can start something, but it's what you do after it that matters, right? So I was not about to just publish my YouTube channel, make everything live, and then not post. Like, what is that? Anybody can do that. But it takes somebody who's ambitious, dedicated, intentional, and actually means well to actually go through with the goals that they set for themselves, as well as showing up in social media spaces. So I have posted more than 5 videos on all of my platforms, probably except for the YouTube channel, because I do post, the audio that I go live with every Monday. I post it every Monday at 8 a.m. on YouTube as well. So the podcast YouTube may not have 5 videos just because, it gets posted once a week. Or by this time it probably does have ch- 5 episodes on there. But, like I said, it's only audio that drops weekly Monday at 8 a.m. So I did start a YouTube channel and I have been actively posting on all three. So I did go ahead and cross that off because that is an accomplishment. And then, of course, I crossed off my free space that I gave myself. And let me see, what else did I cross off? I crossed off starting digital designing. So I don't know if I told y'all or not, but I did create a flyer and a new logo for my best friend's husband because he is a traveling mechanic. And I did not charge her because one, she is my best friend, and two, I needed the practice. Like, if I'm going to like go somewhere with this digital designing hobby, then I want to make sure that I'm not just charging like, stuff that's like charging an insane amount for something that I barely know how to do. Like, I want to get my foot in the door. I want to get practice for, I want to like start practicing for people that actually need a product, like a marketing or, digital design product. So I did that for free and she absolutely loved it. She was like, oh my gosh, this came out better than I expected. It came out better than what I was going to do because I was going to slap some stuff together and make it his and yada yada yada. So I am over the moon that she loved it because it's really hard. I think it's harder for like you to do things for people that you know and love because you don't want to let them down, and you want to, you want to make sure that you can convey your skills the best way you can. So it's very nerve-wracking when you have to do it for somebody that you love because it's like, ooh, what if they don't like it, like X, Y, and Z, like your mind just starts racing. But she loved it. And then, like I told you all, I've already completed an invitation. Like I said, it's a 30-second video invitation for my granddad's surprise party for my grandmother. She wanted it done and she, bought the template, but I put everything together for her. And then she was saying that she wanted to print invitations off so that she can mail it to the people that aren't really, tech savvy. And so I was able to get that completed for her. I think it probably took me like less than, I don't know if it took me less than an hour, but I know it took me less than 2 hours. So one of the other things I've always told y'all, be intentional. Don't slap stuff together and expect people to, be happy with what you've slapped together. If you have not put effort, dedication, and intention into what you're doing, it is going to show. So I just made sure that, hey, like I wasn't doing anything else. I was actually in the mood to do it. And so, that is something else that could be like a form of self care, just designing stuff. And so once I started designing, like I get in my mode and like, okay, what do I want to do? And it also like just gets your creative juices flowing. I was like, okay, I could do this, I could use this template and then do this with this and that. So I love doing that. So that's another form of self-care, self meditation, reading, as well as, doing something that's a hobby for you. Um so yeah, so I went ahead and crossed that off because I didn't know what opportunities were going to come my way, and being able to create a flyer, a logo, a video invitation, and a PDF invitation, I think that is something to be proud of, and that I can justify that being an accomplishment and crossing that off of my bingo board. Now, like I said, not limit to myself to, if I've already crossed it off, I'm not doing it again. No, I still want to explore and flourish in the digital design space. So this is not going to be my end. Let's see, what else did I cross off? The last thing I crossed off was applying for a new role at work. Now, I probably said that I wasn't going to cross this off unless I got, the promotion or unless I got a new role. But I wanted to cross it off because that's a milestone. Like, being able to put yourself out there and show your vulnerability that, hey, like, yes, I'm ready to lead this current department that I'm in and I'm ready to like step outside of my comfort zone, like anywhere that I go, I've told you all before, like it is going to be my growth zone. I have only had positions that grow off of my prior knowledge in the company. And so I want to go somewhere that, completely takes me off my rocker. Completely takes me off, my rocker, like completely throws me into the deep end. So I have applied to two roles at work now. One, I really hope I get. Now, the other one was going to be a promotion, but I'm not really, stoked to get it. I just wanted it for the pay. And you guys, money doesn't, the money, I don't want to say money doesn't buy happiness, but I want to say like, money will come in due time. There's not a rush to do everything all at once, or there's not a rush to get something right here, right now, because something that is meant for you will be. All right, it won't be hard. You won't have to chase it. You will attract it. And I feel like most of the time we get so discouraged when, what we want right now isn't right now. Maybe it wasn't meant for you right now. Maybe if you had it right now, you would have fumbled it. You wouldn't have appreciated it, right? So I don't ever want to force anything upon myself, because what will be mine without hassle, right? I've already told you all before, if it feels rushed, it is, and it's not meant for me. And so I don't like things that are rushed, because I'm like, okay, there's something wrong in the fine print that I'm not looking at, because I'm so worried about the final outcome that I'm not looking at what's being presented in front of me. And so there could be a catch, and I'm just not in my head saying, yeah, looking at the end result, because that's what I want so bad, right? But it could come at a cost to something else. And so I just feel like this promotion would have came at a cost of my my work life, my work home balance, my work life balance, and I feel like my sense of self and my sanity. Just thinking of like how much I have to step outside of my comfort zone and be in the gray area a little bit more. I just don't know. And the work life balance, some people say it's good, but at the same time, when I talk to somebody like, oh, sometimes I log back in after I log out to fulfill this person's request. When I log out right now, I'm in a sense of state where when I log out, I'm off. And I feel like a lot of people would want to be like that. I don't want to log out, get a text on my personal cell phone to my personal number, you asking me to log back in to complete something. You don't know what I have going on. So if you're not going to respect my time and my time outside of work, I'm not going to respect yours. And I just feel like respect goes both ways, right? So not saying that I would do the exact same thing they're doing to me, but I'm not going to respect you, because any chance you get, you should respect my hours, and within these hours are what I'm going to work. So I don't know. I'm not too happy about, the working a little later, or sometimes like logging back in, because I've taken like, I've, let me say this, let me back up. I've had such a hard time logging out mentally when I log out physically. And I've had trouble with that, like when I used to work at Kroger, because I felt like every time I went home, like somebody was texting me about something, or, somebody was asking me to go in to do something. And because I live right around the corner, I was like, sure, yeah, no problem. But no, I'm not doing, I feel like that's going to like spiral me back into a like unhealthy work life balance issue that I already struggled with. And because I was like 19 back then, it didn't really matter. But now that I'm older and potentially going to have a family, in the next coming years, and I already have dogs, I already have other things that I always have to do after work. Even if I didn't have anything to do after work, it's none of their business, and they should respect the time that I get off. So I don't know. I'm just not super stoked about that position. And I feel like they already started the interviewing process, but didn't let people uh that didn't get an interview know that they're no longer being considered, which I'm perfectly fine with. Like, there's no love lost, like no tears shedded. Like, yes, it would have been great to get that promotion, but y'all, I got exceeded for my end of year review for 2024, so that just makes me a little bit more happy. So I'll get a higher raise. come April and so on and so forth. But I did go ahead and put my name in the hat for a position that I actually do want. And I don't think the position comes down until like the posting for application comes down until this upcoming week. So hopefully I hear that I get an interview because I'd rather at least get the interview and know that I didn't make it than to not get anything at all and not hear anything. Right. So I did apply for a new position that I actually am excited for. And I do have excuse me, I do have, like some interest in. Um, so that's really exciting. So those are the things that I've accomplished so far in 2025. It is only the second month of the year, so we still have 11 full months to accomplish everything on my bingo board. Some things that I want to highlight for this month. I want to, let's see, I want to finish my mark for reading 5 books. I want to do more makeup videos. I have had a lot of makeup videos that I have recorded, but I kind of like speed through them just because I feel like I'm still trying to find my makeup style. So I want to finish my read 5 books. I'm on my 4th book already, so that should be done before obviously like the next week or two. And then of course I don't mind going ahead and starting that 5th book, depending on how I'm feeling. Um, so yeah, I want to work on that one. Let's see. More makeup videos. I want to focus on like 3 things. So read 5 books. So I have 2 more to go. More makeup videos, which is just gonna be me like basically finding my, makeup routine that works for me. And let's see, what else do I want to put on here? What else do I want to focus on? Let's see. I have a no spending challenge, 45 days, 30 days. I have liquid diet for a week, liquid diet for 2 weeks, offer editing services. I don't really want to focus on that one right now. I have been editing a lot lately, and like y'all, my edits are actually getting like really really good. And I did edit a video for my mom for her and her best friend's travel agency. Um but I was still not traveling yet. So I mean not traveling, but I'm still not charging people yet. So when I start charging people, I'll cross that off. But let's just focus on those 2 for now. Let's focus on reading my final 2 books to complete, reading 5 books, and let's focus on more makeup videos. Um so I hope, listening to this, I hope you had some things that you accomplished in January. And if not, that is perfectly fine. Let's just self reflect, figure out what did we do in January that prevented us or, hindered us from accomplishing things from our vision board, prayer board, or bingo board. And let's figure out what things we want to implement in our planning to try to accomplish these things. Because, like I said, you don't have to accomplish anything in one day, in one week, in one month, but you need to make sure that you are doing everything in your power to make sure you are reaching towards that goal, right? What did I tell y'all? If goals are not being accomplished and you are not actively working towards them, they are just dreams. They are just figments of your imagination, right? But if we are actively setting plans in place and action items in place to achieve those goals, we are creating a plan. We are creating a path to reach that end goal. And so that's what I want for everybody. Like, if you didn't accomplish anything, that is okay. Don't be let down. Don't be down in the dumpster. Don't do any of that. Don't pity yourself. Just figure out what did you do that you could have done differently. And now that you know that what you did didn't work, okay, how can I turn this around to work in my benefit, work in my favor? All right. So, like I said, for me, I'm going to focus on more makeup videos. And I'm going to read my final 2 books so I can cross off read 5 books this year. And then I'm just going to keep on going with the books. I mean, like I said, I have 6 books currently that I have not read yet. One of those I've already started. So I have, after that 1 book, I still have 5 books to read this year. And so I'm not in a rush. I'm not in a rush. I'm not trying to rush through all of these. Things take time. And reading to me is just so precious and so fulfilling. And it's just, so mind refreshing that I read fast once I get a good book. Once I get a good book, oh yeah, you ain't gonna see me put that book down. I may not watch TV for like a week or a couple days, like a weekend. I could finish a book in, a Saturday, Sunday type deal if it's that good. And I have done it before. And so to me, that's just, me fueling my passion and my passion pouring back into me. So that's all I wanted to talk about today, you guys. I hope you all are either achieving goals that you set for yourself already for 2025, or you are on the path to achieving those goals. And you guys, like I said earlier in this episode, make sure you are appreciating those around you. It could be your girlfriend, your wife, your mom, your dad, your grandmother, your auntie, your uncle, your brother, your sister. Tell somebody thank you, because 9 times out of 10, they do not feel seen or appreciated. And you telling them thank you shows them acknowledgement, shows them that they are seen, shows them that their effort, their love, their care, right, is not going unnoticed. And so that I think that is the biggest thing in all of our relationships, or at least mine, that people just want to know that other people care. People just want to know that other people see them. Some people just want to know that what they're doing makes a difference and helps somebody else in their life. And so we just need to make sure that we are telling people we appreciate them so that they feel appreciated, so that they feel seen. And even if you don't know what the other person is doing to even justify you telling them thank you, just tell them thank you. Sometimes their presence in your life is all you need, okay, to feel better, for your life to be better. So just tell them thank you for being in your life. Because Lord knows it could have been different if that person wasn't there. So thanks for tuning in to the Pretty Confident podcast. Remember, confidence isn't about perfection, it's about embracing who you are. Until next time, stay bold, stay authentic, and stay pretty confident. Peace out.